All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the We Book It podcast. This is your Tuesday Night Delight. That's right, the Tuesday Night Delight. And we are talking who's next with NXT. I'm your host, Virgil, the Book It CEO, as well as former Book It World Champion. That's right. And we are going to get right down to business. But before we do, hey, listen, if this is your first time watching one of these episodes, thank you so much for tuning in to our recap videos. Thank you. It means a lot to us here on the channel. All of us work really hard and put a lot of effort in recording these videos for you, just in case you missed the show or you just want to hear our commentary and thoughts on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you all for doing that. Now, with that being said, if this is you are a repeat person, please make sure that you share these episodes. Also, if this is your first time, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the We Book It channel here. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to go into tonight's episode of NXT, a really decent NXT card. We had the TNA X Division Championship match, Leon Slater versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo. We had WWE Speed Men's Championship Tournament match, Axiom versus Sean Legacy. WWE Speed Men's Championship Tournament match, Jasper Troy versus Zachary Wentz. OTM versus Hank and Tank. And then Ricky Saints and Trick Williams NXT contract signing for Halloween Havoc. So, first and foremost, the crowd goes nuts for the number one contender, Tatum Paxley, as she kicks off the show. Paxley is ecstatic, and she thanks the crowd for always being there for her. In the background, Izzy Dame fakes her way through the clapping for Paxley. Paxley puts over Dame and promises to bring singles gold to the culling. Dame and Paxley then hug. And then the new and improved Fatal Influence interrupt. And the NXT Women's Champion, JC Jane, says Paxley doesn't have a chance at Halloween Havoc. Everyone goes back and forth bickering, and Paxley challenges Fatal Influence to a tag match tonight. A tag team match, player. A brawl breaks out, and Dame and Paxley clear the ring, with Paxley holding the NXT Women's title to end this segment. Again, like I said, this is one of those things where you have to build up Tatum Paxley to be a believable force that could potentially win at Halloween Havoc. Again, I'm still not buying JC Jane as, the face of NXT women's wrestling. I know, like I said, to me, she's just a sidekick. She's been a sidekick too many times in these groups for her to be the boss and for me to believe that she's a boss. Like, I have a hard time believing it. I think she's a side. I think she's a side piece. I think she's a sidekick. But that's just my thoughts. Anyway, these two are going to go have a match at Halloween Havoc. Hopefully that the match delivers. There's too many other good women in NXT for them to be so wrapped up in these two. I mean, like I said, Lash Legend, Jada Parker, Jordan Grace. Like I said, you got so much other talent that aren't touching gold right now due to Sol Ruca and how much they believe in her and how they have her as double champ. And then obviously JC Jane holding on to that NXT Women's Championship. But I think there's so much other talent in NXT that could be rocking the boat right now. I really want them to get past this with them and move forward with new women. I just think it's time for that. Next up, we have the TNA X Division Championship match. That's right. TNA is still affiliated with NXT. You will see them, but it will be Leon Slater with Javon Evans taking on Channing Stacks Lorenzo. So the match itself is the first match of the night. Slater sends Stacks flying with a monkey flip. Slater attempts a sunset flip. Stacks puts on the brakes and stomps Slater. Stacks is in control of Slater, working over his ribs. Stacks gets a near fall after a gut buster. Grace gets knocked off the apron. Evans catches Grace. Stacks takes exception to that. And then Slater gets launched into the commentary desk by Stacks. After the confusion, Slater flattens Stacks with a crossbody. Stacks gets dumped out of the ring. Slater leaps over the ring post and lands on Stacks. Slater then nails a Stacks with the Swanton 450 for the win. So, winner and still the TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater. Again, this was nothing super surprising. This is pretty much your standard TV match here between these two gentlemen, is what you figured you were going to see between them. Again, it's not bad at all, but at the same time, it's one of those situations where there is more that you could do with Leon Slater. I love him and Javon Evans as a team, as a brotherhood, and as opponents. I just think they have so much chemistry together. They have similar styles. They're both tall, lanky, high flyers that are believable. So again, and they're super young too. So man, I almost wish they would make these two a tag team so that they could go win tag team gold. I think it would be amazing for television and for NXT, and even at the big level at WWE, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that they ought to definitely look into. You also had a backstage segment here between Jordynne Grace and Kaylani WWE. Jordynne Grace is eyeing that TNA Knockouts Championship pretty hard. I think she has a problem with Kaylani holding that. But again, like I said, it just is what it is. I think you will see those two officially go for it and fight for that championship eventually. Jordynne Grace, that title means a lot to her. She was the TNA Knockouts champion, and that title means a great deal to her. I know it does in her career. Next up, we have the WWE Speed Men's Championship Tournament. It's Jasper Troy versus Zachary Wentz. So the match started with Wentz landing a super kick and attempting a Rana. Troy doesn't go off of his feet. A double stomp by Wentz. Wentz sends Troy over the top with a crossbody. The dive by Wentz. Wentz lands a swanton. Troy kicks out after that. Wentz tries the UFO cutter. Troy pushes Wentz away and obliterates Wentz with a crossbody block. The black hole slam by Troy, and then Troy pins Wentz. I wonder if Jasper Troy asked Abyss if he could do the black hole slam, because that move in itself, when it's done right, that and the end of days coming off the ropes, both of those moves, and they're kind of similar in the way like they swing them around, but both those moves I think are moves, like I said, you got to get permission for those. Those are special moves, especially for big men, because it looks good, especially when big men do those moves on short guys. So these speed matches are a little bit hard to follow though. Not the easiest, but again, like I said, WWE tries to do their best. They're just quick matches because they're 3-minute matches, and I appreciate them putting those titles in NXT. But again, you really should have just defunct them, because literally, like I said, you already have issues where you got TNA titles and NXT titles both being defended on these shows. You don't need speed titles too. So just my thought process behind that. But they're obviously trying to crown new speed champions. So next up, we're in it for Sol Ruca's announcement. So the Women's North American and Speed Champion is in the ring with Zarya and GM Ava. Ruca is in the knee brace and walking with crutches. A tear for Ruca doesn't know when she'll be cleared. Number one contender for the Women's North American Championship, Blake Monroe, then interrupts and demands to be named the new champion. Zarya steps up and says she will defend the title on Ruca's behalf. Ruca says there is no one in this world she trusts more than Zarya, so Ruca agrees. Monroe is livid. Monroe gets in Ava's face and starts screaming. Zarya drops Monroe with the F5, and Ruca looks ... worried. I mean, again, like I said, Zarya is a very, very good wrestler, believable character. I like her look, her unique look. I've always often said that. At the same time, Blake Monroe is just a different level, a different beast. And I don't know that Zarya will be able to win this match and retain that women's NXT North American Championship, which is a shame, but not a shame, because it's actually really good, really tough, really good timing, and it will allow it will allow for someone else to hold that championship and defend that championship. You know, like I said, and Blake Monroe is going to be your NXT Women's Championship in 2026. You can book it. I mean, that's a foregone conclusion. But they want to start off with the North American Championship first. I like that. It's a good idea. So She will take that title from Zaria, and it will cause another inch of strife between Zaria and Sol Ruca, with eventually Zaria turning heel on Sol Ruca. You know that's coming, so please do not be fooled by this. It's happening. Just slow turn. But and she's gonna make a good heel too. I love her look as a heel. I think she'll be great at it. Next up, we have the WWE Speed Men's Tournament Championship Tournament match. It's Axiom versus Sean Legacy. This one ends with Axiom hitting a top rope Spanish fly with 8 seconds left and getting the win. So he will move on in this match. We also get a vignette segment where Official Ego has a lot to say about Dr. Joe DeWagner. Like I said, Joe DeWagner, I'm sorry, from Mexico, who he will defend that men's North American Championship against in the Day of the Dead match at Halloween Havoc. Excited to see that match. I think that match has potential to steal the show. Next up, we have OTM versus Hank and Tank. So a brawl breaks out before the match even starts. OTM takes over early, double teaming Hank behind the referee's back. Price and Nima stomp Hank like he ate the last piece, last piece of fried chicken. Nima and Price take turns beating down Hank. Hank manages to tag in Tank. Tank clears the ring. Hank gets dumped out of the ring. Price and Nima hit their finisher on Tank for the win. Hank and Tank on a little bit of a losing streak here. They got to figure it out, man, because again, these two, I think, are the future of WWE tag team wrestling. So I think it's very important that these guys get it figured out. After the match, Price lays out Hank with the ring steps. Neiman and Price put Tank through the commentary desk. I mean, they just cause absolute complete havoc, which we love that. We love that, especially when it's coming from NXT. Next up, Kendall Gray wasn't about to let Lash Legend speak to Ren Sinclair any type of way. I'm not going to stand here and let you push around Ren. So, like I said, Lash Legend is looking for championship gold. Like I said, so she is out to get it any way possible. And I love this for her. I mean, she's a big woman. She's a believable champion, and she should be a champion. Her in-ring work has proven it. She knows how to work as a big woman. I can't imagine her locking horns with when on the main roster, obviously locking horns with Nia Jax, and Charlotte Flair and other big tall women, like I said, in that are in the league. I think she's money. Everything from her look, her promos need a little bit of work, but I definitely think that Lash Legend has a future, and that's why they kept her out of everybody that in the group that she was in. So we'll see what happens with that. So the next is the Culling versus the Fatal Influence tag team match. So Reed and Paxley start the match. Reed misses an elbow drop. Paxley blasts Reed with the face buster. Jane tags in and trades shots with Paxley. We get a preview here of what their match is going to be like. After a bunch of reversals, Dame gets pulled out the ring. Jane floors Paxley with the rolling encore for the win. And after the match, Fatal Influence fights off Reed, Henley, and Jane. So, like I said, Fatal Influence picks up the win here, and then Paxley fights off Reed, Henley, and Jane after the match. Match was fun in itself, kind of unnecessary, but again, still a fun match, and it just thickens the plot for the Halloween Havoc championship match, which we might end up seeing if they continue in this route, could end up maybe having a stipulation. I know Shawn Michaels doesn't necessarily like to book a bunch of stipulations, only when it requires it and when it calls for it. So we'll see what happens with that. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes, our main event, the QB of NXT. That's right, Ricky Saints is going to do his NXT championship contract signing with Trick Williams. So NXT GM Ava is in the ring. Then the challenger, Trick Williams, comes out first. The champion, Ricky Saints, is out next. And then Williams says he does things on his time. Williams says even though Saints is the champion, Williams is still the main event. He's the only man who can pick up NXT and put it back on and put it on his back. Williams doesn't love NXT and doesn't owe NXT or TNA anything. Trick Williams loves himself and some Trick Williams, and he's going to become a 3-time NXT champion. Williams signs the contract. Then after that, Saints says he never changed, but we can't say the same for Williams. The championship changed Williams. Saints notes that Williams thinks he is bigger than the brand or the title. Saints signs the contract. Williams and Saints go back and forth. Saints fires up and goes off on Williams and proclaims this is his house because he is absolute Ricky Saints. Williams and Saints get in each other's faces. Security tries to separate the two. Williams cheap shots Saints, and Saints puts Williams through the table and stands tall. Again, nothing new here, kind of what you would expect from these guys in this match. And that's okay. It's okay because it's leading towards probably more than one match between them, and that's also a good thing too. And again, it's going to be one of those things where this builds up these guys and it gets them, going and ready for their match at Halloween Havoc. So, like I said, it's going to be great. You guys, Halloween Havoc is right around the corner. Make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. Also, it's going to be on Peacock. Obviously, the PLEs for NXT stay on Peacock. Make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe to this episode. Let me know your thoughts on the show, on the matches, on the match card. Let me know your thoughts. Appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, keep those book and pencils